Our president's comments yesterday to the National Association of Black Journalists, where he said that Vice President Harris is, quote, all of a sudden black. As a father of 3 biracial children, did those comments give you pause at all?
They don't give me pause at all. Look, all he said is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent. She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of. I think it's totally reasonable for the president to call that out, and that's all he did. I mean, look, she's running as a tough-on-crime prosecutor, even though she implemented open border policies. She's saying that she wants to support the police, yet she wanted to defund the police just 3 years ago. It's totally reasonable to call out the fact that she pretends to be somebody different depending on the audience she's talking to.
Okay, so I want to react to this left-wing propagandist, this journalist who had this extremely hostile interview with Donald Trump, extremely disrespectful. And my thoughts about this lady, and I don't know what her name is. I really don't give a shit what her name is because she's a disgrace. This group of black journalists, these black propagandists, left-wing propagandists who want some clout from their white liberal masters. These people hosted some event. They asked Kamala to show up. She didn't give a damn about them, so she didn't show up. Biden wouldn't have showed up. Obama wouldn't have showed up. But Trump gave them the courtesy and gave them the respect and actually showed up. He showed up into enemy territory knowing that it could get hostile, but nobody really expected this level of hostility that we're going to watch in a second. But these people weren't even prepared. They had the most well-known man on earth sitting around for over 30 minutes while they got their shit together because they weren't ready. What the hell? He gave them the courtesy of showing up on time and actually sitting there waiting, and they came out with nothing but hatred and propaganda. So this interview got off to a bad start immediately because this lady, she was way too emotional. She had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. She wasn't interested in anything relevant to the black community, whether it was income, security, getting these hooligans off the street, getting more people educated. She wasn't interested. She was interested in getting some clout. She was interested in getting pats on the back. Oh, you go, girl. You told him. Oh, we like how you talk to him. That only gets you so far. So let's take a look at a piece of this interview. The entire thing is over 30 minutes long. I can link that in the box, but let's take a look.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner, a first question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. they couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act?
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe
I
that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that interview.
You told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people.
Like I said, this lady was a disgrace. Horrible selection for somebody to sit down and interview Trump. The most well-known man on earth actually took the time and came to your propagandist meeting and sat down with you for an hour, and you spewed nothing but left-wing hatred. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. And she is getting some clout. She's getting some pats on the back online. But more than that, she's getting destroyed all over social media. And I want to look at this one particular video that I found on Twitter. This person from this clip here went off on this interviewer. Like I said, I don't give a flying fuck what her name is, but this woman on Twitter went off on this reporter for 5 minutes. And her response was much better than I can put it, but let's take a look.
Before I start this interview, I'm going to ask y'all to, forgive my language in advance. Because I'm going to say some stuff on here that I don't usually say on my videos. So those of y'all who have sensitive ears, keep swiping. Let this be one of my videos that you swipe on by. Because, listen, playtime is over and the gloves are off. Now, listen, first I want to say thank you to my Chi-Town sister who, let me know that Trump was going to be in Chicago during the interview. Now, let me say this. This was the most disrespectful disrespectful interview I think I've ever seen. First of all, Trump knew when he went to this interview that he was going in the lion's den. Kudos, Trump, to you going to this, because this was some straight up bullshit. This girl was so disrespectful, it's ridiculous. The whole fucking panel was disrespectful, but it was so disrespectful, it was ridiculous. First of all, Kamala Harris didn't even show up. Kamala Harris didn't even show up because she don't feel like she needs to show up, because she already knows she got the black votes lined up in Chicago, and she don't have no respect for the black people. And let's not forget, she chicken shit. She complete chicken shit, because she been saying she wanted to debate Trump, and this would have been the best time for her to be on stage with Trump and say whatever she wanted to say to him. But of course she didn't even show up. The doggone interviewers, they were 35 minutes late because they had no respect for Trump either. But Trump, kudos to you for going into this bull crap. Now, this interviewer didn't even start the interview off by saying hello, President Trump. Did a goddamn thing for blacks out of the kindness of their heart. They did it because they didn't have a choice, because Republicans passed it. And I'm so sick of these goddamn dumbass black folks acting like Democrats loved us. They ain't never cared nothing about us, and they still don't. But y'all keep falling for this goddamn trap they keep putting out there, thinking they care so much about you. And yep, I said what I said, and I meant what I said. But then, shit goes on to ask, so you call, Republicans, and y'all said Kamala Harris is a DEI hire. Do you think she's a DEI hire? Fuck yeah, she's a DEI hire. She's a DEI hire. She was hired because she was a woman, and because she was a woman of color, and she started calling herself black. Then this interviewer gonna tell me, well, she always called herself black. You telling a fucking lie, because Kamala Harris called herself whatever she need to call herself to get whatever vote she need to get. I'm waiting on her to say that she's a trans woman, because now she's trying to get votes from the trans community. Kamala Harris has been an energy woman when she was running up there in fucking California. She became a black woman when she was running for VP, and she needed the black votes. And like I said, I'm waiting on her to say she's a trans woman, because now she's trying to get votes from the trans. This was the worst interview ever. And Trump, I give kudos to you for even going into this bullshit, because I wouldn't have went nowhere near it. I wouldn't have went nowhere near it, period. But let me tell y'all something. If y'all sitting up here thinking just because the person is black, or just because the person is a woman, that they got to jump in line with the Democratic Party, or they got to vote for Kamala Harris, kiss the crack of my ass, because I am a black woman, and I'm not voting for either. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, and I'm not voting for the Democratic Party, and it is what the fuck it is.
Wow. That's one of the most epic rants that I've seen in recent memory. And good, because like I said, this woman was a disgrace. She completely ruined this little panel, this little meeting of black left-wing activists that they call journalists, these propagandists. She ruined it, because who else is going to go see them now? Biden is not going to see them. Kamala's not going to go see them. Obama's not going to go see them. They're a bunch of black activists. They got their votes locked. Why would they waste their time on these fools? They're not going to go see them. So you completely ruined it. But this lady's not going to learn, because she's in this bubble. She's in her social media bubble. Oh, you go, girl. You told them off. You're perfect. But again, good luck getting anybody notable to go to your little propaganda panel. Complete disgrace. So let me know what you guys think about this. Leave me your thoughts below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.